So Birch Lake has been experiencing sulfate pollution for some time, both from historic and currently operating taconite mines. When we began ramping up our water quality monitoring program, we were noticing a distinct lack of data on mining pollutants in the western part of the lake. So this is the Dunker River, and this is Unnamed Creek, tributaries of Birch Lake that receive mining wastewater discharge. Birch Lake is a wild rice water body, which means it needs to be protected from sulfate pollution in order to protect those wild rice stands. And so in 2019, we began some preliminary research in the Birch Lake area. So at every site that we monitor, we measure using this multi-parameter sonde 4 different things: water temperature, specific conductance, which is the ion concentration of the water, pH, and dissolved oxygen. And then we also will take a profile in some of our deeper sites and measure for those 4 things at the surface and then at 1 meter intervals all the way down to the bottom of the lake. So there's a couple other measurements and tests that we can run in the field. And one of those is using a Secchi disc to measure the transparency of the water. Wild rice in particular needs a lot of light to grow. We also take samples of the water to send back to our lab for analysis. In particular, we monitor every site that we visit for sulfate. Even after the dilutionary effect of all of this clean water coming out of the wilderness and other clean tributaries providing clean water to Birch Lake, we're still seeing elevated sulfate concentrations in our monitoring locations 20 miles downstream of the source of pollution. Our data is showing the western half of the lake is impaired for sulfate, meaning that pollution levels of sulfate are higher than the state 10 milligram per liter for wild rice water bodies.